The inside story on the issues that affect you and your community. This is Local 12 Newsmakers.
Good morning and welcome to Local 12 Newsmakers. I'm Dan Hurley. Over the next several months, Cincinnati institutions will open a series of new facilities to better serve the local homeless population. Although each of these has its own story, taken together, this is also the result of good planning and coordination, reflecting the vision outlined in the Homeless to Home study not even a decade ago. Since the 1940s, the City Gospel Mission has been serving the poor and the homeless from cramped quarters on Elm Street and over the Rhine. 10 days ago, the mission opened the first part of a new facility on Dalton Street in Queensgate. It will now have the modern kitchen facilities to serve up to 150 homeless men and women at breakfast and supper every day, up from 100 in very cramped quarters in the former location. In addition, the mission has new sleeping areas with modern shower and laundry facilities. A second building is scheduled to open this summer and will provide new and expanded facilities for the mission's jobs, addiction programs, and administrative offices, as well as the Lord's Gym and a street outreach ministry. I am joined now by Roger Howell, the president of the City Gospel Mission, and Antonio Holliday, the chef at City Gospel Mission. Welcome to Newsmakers. Roger, I think it's welcome back for you.
Yeah, well, thanks for having us. We really appreciate that.
So, how long have you been dreaming of a new facility?
We started this in 2003.
2003.
Yep.
And that was at a point where you didn't know where you were going, you didn't know what it was going to cost. Correct. How does what is being created and partially opened already, how does that fit what you thought might even be possible back in 2003?
Well, this is much larger than I ever dreamed possible and much nicer than I ever dreamed possible. But philosophically, it's the vision in 2003 come to pass.
And what's the core of that vision?
That we can serve homeless and people in poverty in a much better, holistic manner, and really care for them and show them dignity. One of the things I've learned over all the years I've been doing this, that the ambiance and the facilities make a huge difference in how people feel and how they view your view of them. Right. If you have nice facilities, they think you really respect them, care for them, see them as value. So it makes a big difference.
You know, that reminds me, you may know the name Bill Strickland from Pittsburgh. Mm-hmm. And one of Bill's points, he's been a guest on this show, one of his points is that, and he has a learning center in the heart of Pittsburgh, mm-hmm. and it's inspired by great architects, and his point is, if you surround people with great architecture, they become great people.
Yep.
And if you surround people with terrible environments, they begin to think they're terrible. Yeah. And it's Antonio, you're more than the chef. You're a person who's got a real connection to the City Gospel Mission on a very personal level. What is that?
The personal level that I have is with City Gospel Mission. I came through the doors myself, the men's recovery program in 2013, and that moment changed my life. And the connection that I have is for the people, because the people who came through the doors to volunteer at City Gospel Mission actually cared. The staff cared. And to be honest, they cared about me more than I cared about me at the time. So that sparked something in me to care, and just the passing back and forth of caring to one another.
At the moment that you walked through those doors, had you already made the big decision that you were going to change your life, or was walking through those doors just one more set of doors initially that then turned into something that was really fundamental?
I walked through the doors wanting to change my life, but didn't know what to expect, and the principles that I was taught and the philosophy that they were selling there, I bought into, and I went through the door wanting to change, and the change, I didn't know what to expect, but when I did embrace it, it actually transformed into my household today.
So when you look at the kitchen that you're working in now in the new facility, versus the kitchen you were working in over on Elm Street. What's your reaction?
Wow.
That's exactly it. Wow.
Wow. And just going from the old kitchen to the new kitchen. I used to help out at the old kitchen, but the new kitchen is a vision of Jay Boy's, and he helped put that together and design it, and it's amazing, because a clean kitchen is a happy kitchen, and then the food from there would just trickle down to the people.
Yeah. Let me tell, Jay Boyce was our chef before and developed liver problems and died about a year ago, a little less than a year ago. So he was the one that designed this, and he had the same heart as Antonio. He also had come through addiction, and so it's just really neat to see Jay living and there helping people. So,
you know, one of the things that I know about City Gospel Mission, because I have had an opportunity to come any number of times and bring people with me,
right.
Is that there's a lot of volunteers who come in to help serve the food. Is all the food cooked there, or do people bring it in? I was never very clear about that.
Yes.
Where that food was coming from,
Yes.
Which, by the way, is very good.
Okay, yes.
I think the 4 meals I've eaten there are very good.
Okay. Yes, most of the food is brought in and prepared in the kitchen, which was initial design for the kitchen as well, so they can have access to new equipment and larger space to cook. Some groups bring the food in, but the majority, I say 90% of the people cook the food there in the kitchen.
Yeah, when I saw that kitchen, I have volunteered over the years with my wife at Tender Mercies, and there you have to bring everything in and take everything out, and there's very minimal. I saw that kitchen, my mouth was watering. I was like, wow, you could really do something here.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes,
Now, Roger, for you, what's your favorite part of the new facility?
Well, this is silly, and everybody laughs at me, but when I take people on tours, which I do all the time now, so anybody's welcome to come for a tour, but we go to the second floor, and I say I'm taking you to my favorite place, and we go into the men's room.
The men's room as in?
Bathroom.
Yeah, okay.
And, it's my favorite room because I think, although the whole facility communicates how we care and the dignity we're trying to show people, the bathroom is a place where people don't expect it, and it just top rate, damn. It's just, I mean, it's equal to or better than some sports clubs I've been in. You know, hotels that have the big restroom facilities for conventions and stuff. It's better than that. We have granite countertops, individual showers, individual private places where you change to get into the shower, come out. It's huge. There's a lot of space, so it really does communicate love and care.
I had picked up that was your. I knew you were going to say that, and we saw a little bit of that at the beginning. But it really is. So
the whole building does that, but I think that's a place where nobody expects it, you know, and there it is.
Let's talk about the people who were served. And Antonio, you were one of the people who were served. How would you describe who comes, who needs City Gospel Mission?
I would describe who comes and who needs City Gospel Mission. Honestly, just me personally, is anybody who is in need that can't afford meals. For me, it's not only for the people who are homeless, but for anybody who is in need, because we offer more than just meals there. You know, it's a place of love. You know, the love is very, very strong there. And I thought homelessness was just to the point to where somebody's on the street holding a sign, but once I got down there, I didn't know it was to that magnitude, and I really wanted to do something, make myself available to try to help somehow.
Let me ask the same question of the administrator. Who's it for?
We are working with people, especially at the homeless shelter, for those who are homeless. But as Antonio said, there's some other people that come in. But our main purpose is people who are homeless. We provide holistic help, case management to help somebody get off the streets and back into a functioning member of society. And then the second building that you mentioned earlier will also be for men who have drug and alcohol recovery And there's other programs there for people who need jobs. So it'll be a wide variety of people.
You know, I think one of the things that people wonder is when they hear homeless, they wonder if people who are homeless are ever going to be able to work. Are they ever going to be able to get back into the mainstream economy? What's your experience?
You know, there are so many misconceptions about homeless people. You know, the first thing that blew me away when I started working with this population is how intelligent they are. It is really amazing how many have college degrees or some college thing, or even some who didn't go to college because that was too easy for them and they're just too intelligent, and they just didn't fit into society. So yeah, it is amazing how many can get back on their feet and work with the love and the care. A lot of them have had traumatic experience happen to them. A lot of them have some mental illness, so they need to get some of that worked out and being functioning. But yeah, it's amazing how many can get back to work.
So there is light at the end of this tunnel.
For sure.
For some, you know, for others it's long-term care, but it's
long-term care, but they can still manage SSI, getting into their own apartment. Might not be having a job and paying every bill on their own, but they can function in society. They don't have to be homeless. And you know what? I remember Michelle Budzik, who's probably our leading expert in homelessness in the city, you know, said a long time, it's just love and hope and care that somebody has to have. And what helps somebody get out from under a bridge is somebody building a relationship with them and walking them from under that bridge to their own apartment. And so, and yeah, there is hope.
Antonio, why did you even go to the doors at the City Gospel Mission? Why did, because there's other doors, you know, the drop, you know, there's other places that you can go. What was the word on the street or wherever you were? Why did you think the City Gospel Mission might be a place to go for?
Honestly, I drove past the City Gospel Mission, never knew what it was or what they did, and it was a young lady that told me about the Exodus program and their philosophy, and I believed what she said, and I went, and I interviewed to get into the Exodus program, and the director then told me that it was a year-long program, and I told him I didn't care how long it takes, and then he said this is a homeless shelter, and I told him it didn't matter, I just wanted to be changed. And when he told me his story, that hope that Roger spoke about, I seen it in him, and therefore it gave me the courage to act and respond to that hope, and so I can build it up in myself and let others build into me.
Roger, how are you funded? How do people help? How do people who are, you know, where's your funding come from?
Our funding comes mostly, and I'm talking mostly, like well over 90% from individuals who give donations out of their pocket. You know, so individuals, we have well over 20,000 donors. We have a $5 million+ budget. So it's either out of their individual checkbook or a family company will give it from the company, but it's really just a different way to give. Family foundations give us money. So most all of that comes back from individuals.
And I messed up and don't have the website, but it's www.citygospelmission.org.
Correct.
And if you go to that website, you can find out more, and you can also find out how to donate.
That's right.
And people should know. Thank you for all you've accomplished on many different levels, and keep up. And I got to get down there. I'll come by and eat. Okay. The countdown to the All-Star Game has begun. Getting ready involves more than players on the field. Join me after the break for the bigger picture. Welcome back. A wonderful Findlay Market Parade, a great first homestand. The Reds are off and running, and Cincinnatians are preparing to host the All-Star Game on July the 14th. But if we are going to fully exploit this opportunity, it takes more than just the Reds organization. It takes the entire community. I am joined now by Melanie Chavez, a principal with Chavez Properties, and the co-chair of the Community Organizing Committee that is coordinating all the events around the region, and Teresa Hurley, the Vice President for Development and External Affairs for Artworks, which is partnering with the All-Star effort. Teresa, welcome back. Melanie, welcome to Newsmakers.
Thank you.
Melanie, this is getting ready for the All-Star Game. This is something you've been working on for a long time already, right?
For about 14 months. And it's more than the All-Star Game. You know, we're the community organizing committee. We have about 200 community volunteers. And truly, this is about showcasing our region to the nation during this time.
So it's using the All-Star Game as an opportunity to tell our story?
Absolutely. And we really have two driving goals throughout this process. The first one is kind of that more internal focus, and it's about our residents, making sure that people feel a part of this opportunity and understand how lucky we are to have this opportunity to host the All-Star Game. So taking advantage of that, talking to your neighbors, coming out as a community, volunteering side by side. And then the other piece of this, of course, is the external component. Ensuring that as guests come to our region and as they experience all we have to offer, they get a sense for who we are as a community. They get a sense of our culture, of our history, of who we are right now. And as they're leaving and going back home, you know, that thought pops across their mind that, hey, I need to go back to Cincinnati to explore a little bit more. I didn't have time to quite do everything.
So what's the connection, Teresa? What's the connection to artworks? Are we got the baseball players who are going to come up and we're going to teach them some art, or what are you going to do?
Yeah, that's a great question. So as you know, at Artworks, everything we do at Artworks is about loving and celebrating Cincinnati. It's actually our #1 core value. So the projects you've seen us produce in the past with hiring local artists and local youth all reflect that. We've created 90 murals throughout the city. A lot of them celebrate key figures and key themes about what make us unique as a city. The Big Pig gig that we've done, everything that we've really created is about loving and celebrating Cincinnati. And so when we realized that we were lucky enough to have the All-Star Games come back to Cincinnati, we were really excited about an opportunity to really showcase and spotlight in Cincinnati what makes us unique. And so we were excited when we were contacted to partner with the Community Organizing Committee so we could figure out a way to celebrate the city and showcase both for the residents and the visitors, because we know there's a lot of people who live here that will experience it as well as that will come in from other cities, how we can celebrate what makes us unique and special as a city.
You know, one of the things is there's only so many people who are going to be able to get tickets to the game itself. And a lot of those are going to be taken up by those outsiders. One of your goals, for both of you, is to spread the experience all through the community. And some of that started, we got a shot of part of your float from the Findlay Market Parade. So one of the things is to project out into the entire region. Is that right?
Yeah, I call it expanding the footprint. So we know Great American Ballpark holds about 40,000 people, right? But we want our entire region to be able to experience that. So part of it was being a part of the opening day parade. Part of it is neighborhood engagement. So we've reached out to the 60 some odd neighborhoods throughout the region, both sides of the river. We've asked them, how do you want to be involved with the All-Star Game? We have 3 opportunities. One is we're underwriting 10 neighborhoods to host block parties on the day of the All-Star Game. And this is going to be so much fun. Sun up to sundown, mock home run derby competitions for the kids in the neighborhood. We'll bring the food. We'll bring the entertainment. All they have to bring is the people and hopefully some volunteers, again, so we can work side by side.
So there's going to be 10 of those?
10.
Have you selected them yet?
We're in the process. We're going to announce at the beginning of May.
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
Another opportunity is for the folks who didn't get chosen for that. We do have some budget to extend that All-Star Summer signage throughout some of our neighborhoods. So again, we want to hear who wants to be involved. And then finally, a third opportunity, which will happen closer to the game, is we're going to have a contest for the balance of the neighborhoods to win an ultimate block party.
An ultimate block party. All right, what's that involve? What do we get if we got an all-new block party?
You know, it's more the same. It's the music, it's the entertainment. What we want to create is, since we're in the neighborhood, it's that feeling of community. We want people to come out, get to know each other, just have fun and celebrate that, again, we get the honor of hosting this event.
Now, from Artworks' perspective, you've always projected into lots of neighborhoods. I mean, a lot of the murals are downtown and over the Rhine, but a lot of them are other places, and that's your commitment. So how are you going to help this effort project out in the neighborhoods, even if they don't win the ultimate block party?
So a couple ways. First, Just the project that we're creating is a response to a poem that was commissioned about the city called Seven Hills and a Queen to Name Them. And this will manifest as a public art installation downtown and over the Rhine in those 10 neighborhoods.
And we've got the logo. Why don't we put the logo up now? Go ahead.
Great. So, so people will be able to experience this poem in various ways throughout the city. And there's a treasure hunt and discovery in the over the Rhine neighborhood. And then we'll also go into these other 10 communities that are announced later this summer. What we really want to do is both extend the experience for anyone throughout the All-Star Week and throughout the summer. So that way you can experience and celebrate the city all summer long.
In those stanzas of that poem, which can be found on the Artworks website, by the way, and it's an extensive poem. We can't, I would have liked to have put it up, or I would have liked to have surprised you and had you read it, but it's too much. But they will appear. Stanzas and elements of that will appear. And you've got some ideas that you shared of how that might happen. There's one where some of it is sort of projected onto a building like the CAC.
Correct. So there's about 3 or 4 different ways that this poem and the stanzas from it will manifest. Light projections, we were just testing the lighting projections last night.
And we could, there it is, it's up on the screen right now.
Vinyl installations, sky bridges being wrapped. We also have mini murals that will be 36 murals, and those murals will contain all the different words of all the poems. So then an individual can go with their family and friends and find the entire poem throughout over the Rhine.
Well, there will be also elements, there's one you shared with, I guess there's a stanza on the side of a building. Here we go. We've got part of it.
Yes, so that's a vinyl installation. So we'll have stanzas on about 10 to 15 buildings downtown. So there'll be different manifestations of vinyl wrap, light projection, mini murals that are throughout the city, so you can experience and read these words and connect to the words that celebrate what make us unique as a city.
Yeah. So that's a whole element that isn't just baseball.
Right.
It's really reinforcing this concept of community. When you got started with this, Melanie, did you benchmark against what other cities that have hosted the All-Star Game have done, or is this, Cincinnati, we can think it up ourselves?
A combination of both. We really try to, and a group of us were fortunate enough to go to Minneapolis last year.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest takeaway from that visit was that I didn't get to know Minneapolis, and I wanted to. We did have the opportunity to go to some of the official MLB events, and they were beautiful. And MLB is going to do that for our town, too.
So the home run
Derby,
contest,
yeah,
or all of that kind of
everything
stuff.
they offer, but really the rest, it's up to that host city to truly bring forth what we stand for, who we are, how we can engage a community, why it's good to live here, why we're a fabulous city to host conventions, to host major events. So that's up to us, and we're going to take it and run with it.
And there's a real economic impact question here, not just of the game itself, but also of the long term. People coming here saying, they can pull this off. We can bring our meetings here. We can bring our choir games here. I mean, look what happened with the choir games. They relocated their offices here. I mean, there's really implications in the long run for this.
Absolutely. I think the choir games, enabled us to sort of solidify our volunteer-centric region through the Welcomers. That's a wonderful volunteer database that we're leveraging for the All-Star Games.
Yep.
And this will just lead to another opportunity, which will lead to another.
Well, I want to end with, one of the images that, the type of image, and I just love this because I don't know anything about art, and I do know a little bit, but you're going to also have some art installations up, which you refer to as wheat paste.
Correct.
Because, and we've got one of those, and out in neighborhoods, here we go, and I think there's a stanza of the poem there as well, and those are installations that are somewhat temporary, right?
Correct. So the material is called wheat paste, and it's a more temporary installation. The murals will be up from the end of June through the end of September, and they will be an illuminated text of from the body of the poem, and then those will both be in Over the Rhine and those 10 neighborhoods that are celebrated and announced.
So those 10 neighborhoods are going to get lots of attention.
Yes.
So
Yes.
May, when is that?
We're going to announce at the beginning of May.
Beginning. You didn't, not saying May 1. You're saying beginning of May. Thank you for all of this. I know how much effort both you individually and your organizations are putting into this. Thank you for what you're doing, and let's all have fun this summer, and let's celebrate community and not just baseball.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you for making Newsmakers a part of your Sunday morning. Next Sunday, I'll be joined by Dwight Farrell, the new head of Metro Sorta. He has been in Cincinnati and in his position just a little over 100 days. Time to see what he thinks and what he thinks we should do next. Have a good week.